The afterlife, a concept of life after death that has boggled the minds of humankind for centuries, dating all the way back to ancient Mesopotamia, the first recorded civilization on Earth. We have all had some theory or belief of what may happen to us when we die, whether it be our physical, earthly bodies dying and releasing our spiritual form to reach an afterlife, or perhaps being reincarnated to another physical form, or maybe we just remain in the ground unconscious and decomposing. Whether you look at death as a new beginning or in a final resting place, we all have this fascination in trying to solve this elusive question. Ancient civilizations like Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, Rome, Israel, Nepal, India, and many other civilizations have had various ideologies and beliefs of what happened to us after death. In current day, there are a plethora of different belief systems, both religious and none, all having some view on a life after death. This concept has been studied and looked over and pondered upon many great thinkers, none of which have yet come up with a certain answer to what happened to us after death, and is such a thing as an afterlife. Philosophers like Samuel Scheffler don't believe that the spirit or soul survives after death. However, Scheffler, for instance, does believe in some idea of an afterlife. For although he doubts in our personal afterlife, he does believe that life will continue to exist after us. In saying this, even though we may die, others will continue to live on after us. This afterlife ideology, much like faith in a spiritual afterlife, influence us on how we should live on earth, seeing how our actions will influence others in both life and afterlife. In addition to Samuel Scheffler's view on the afterlife, other philosophers like Plato have their own views on the afterlife. Plato believed that our souls are immortal through reincarnation. By living pure lives and reaching enlightenment, after death your soul may go and live with gods. This can be achieved through your innate knowledge that you can receive from your reincarnated soul through remembrance, as well as by maintaining a clean soul. However, if you fail to reach this enlightenment and pure life, you will receive 8 years of punishment, and your soul will return to your human form through reincarnation. Plato gives us yet another fascinating idea of what may happen to us after death. Now, in this documentary, we'll be exploring other perspectives, ideologies, and beliefs on the afterlife, as well as our own through interviews. In addition, we are going to give current day views on the afterlife. However, the topic of an interview can be viewed in numerous ways, thus we could never possibly be able to hit every one of them. Therefore, our documentary is here to serve as a tool to become open-minded, aware of other viewpoints, and to perhaps help shape your own personal view on life after death.
When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
I'd like to say it's like life after death, so kind of like afterlife, life after death.
Do you personally believe in an afterlife?
I do.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
I think that our soul either goes up to heaven, like our spiritual sense and essence go either to heaven or hell, depending on our actions on earth and our beliefs. Or if Christ comes back before then we don't go anywhere. God just comes and we have our new bodies and spirits.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, and why?
Hopefully good. I want to say it's going to be good because it's based off our beliefs and actions, and I believe that I followed the kind of requirements.
Does your religion influence your view of an afterlife?
Yes and no. So I don't really follow the religion like word for word. I follow more of the belief sense, so yes.
When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
When I hear the words afterlife, I think of like light and energy.
Do you personally believe in an afterlife?
Kind of.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
I believe like our energy is like recycled, so whether that means like your soul is like reincarnated, or you become a tree or or a bird, or I just feel like your energy is recycled into something else.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, and why?
I've been a good person, at least I think so I hope it's good.
Does religion influence your view of an afterlife?
No, it does not.
When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
I think of God and heaven and hell, and how pretty much we're just waiting to see whether we're going to heaven or hell.
Do you personally believe in an afterlife?
Yes.
Alright, what do you think happens to us when we die?
I think that we pretty much just wait until God judges us, and then he decides whether we go to heaven or hell. And if that's beforehand, then we just wait till Judgment Day.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad? And why?
I think it'll be good. I mean, I think I've led a pretty good life, and I've been good, I guess.
Does religion influence your view of an afterlife?
Yes. When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind? I think of living after you die, hopefully.
What do you personally believe in an afterlife?
I do not believe in an afterlife.
Where do you think we go when we die?
I think that we don't go anywhere. I think that we just die and it ends.
When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is seeing my family. Whenever my deceased loved ones, I hope to see them soon.
Do you personally believe in an afterlife?
Yes, I do, and hope to be there one day.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
I think that we go to heaven. Even if people don't believe in heaven, there's always some type of afterlife.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, and why?
I think it'd be good because my family and friends are there.
Does religion influence your view of an afterlife?
Yes, it does.
When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
When I hear the words afterlife, I feel like I think about if there's going to be a heaven or a hell, or if we're like maybe reincarnated. So like if we just like are reborn and have another life.
Do you personally believe in an afterlife?
Yes, I feel like this is something. So when we die, there's obviously going to be another thing. So I feel like there's for sure something else other than this life that we are living in.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
I feel like we get to go and talk to God if we've lived a good life, or if we like didn't live like through a bad word or something. And when we talk to him, like we either get to go to heaven, like a better life is given to us, or we get to go to hell, which is like we're going to be living through like a bad time or a bad lifestyle.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, and why?
I think my afterlife will be good because I believe in God, and I feel like as long as you believe in God, like you're going to be given a good afterlife. I feel like if you don't believe in God, you don't really have like a hope for what's going to happen. So I just feel like at that point, you're just given a bad life.
And does your religion influence your view of an afterlife?
Yes, so I feel like if you don't believe in God, like I said, like you're not going to be given an afterlife, or you're just not given a good afterlife. But since I do believe in God, I feel like we are like, he promises us like an everlasting afterlife, I think. So I do believe it does influence my decision.
To begin, we must first understand the concept that many various religious traditions have stated that the view of an afterlife will resolve justice by assigning rewards and punishments to people according to how they lived their lives. This belief can be dated back to the ancient world, especially in Greek and Roman religion, and as well as in various Asian religions. To the extent that the afterlife is a form of a justice, it is usually restricted to humans, as other animals are not held responsible for their actions. But on the other hand, religions like Hinduism and Buddhism believe that once we finish our current life, we continue to another by reincarnation, otherwise known as the cycle of death and rebirth. The goal, however, is to be released from this never-ending cycle of many lives you accomplish to achieve what they call nirvana or moksha. Although Buddhists and Hindus are still a firm believer of karma, which establishes all the good and bad actions you took in your life and determines the root of your reincarnation, they fully believe an individual's search for eternal happiness and immortality stems from the rebirth of their spirit in different bodies, until their spirit learns that the happiness and immortality are not a result of fulfillment of desires, but are achieved when all desires and needs are no longer important. Despite the fact that Buddhism and Hinduism are very comparable in beliefs, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are all on the opposite spectrum when it comes to the afterlife. While Christianity and Islam are firmly believers in the existence of the afterlife and how all individual souls will be judged on Judgment Day by God or Allah, Jewish religion generally emphasizes the current life and not life after death. They recognize that the life of the spirit does not end at the point of bodily death. It is the Jew's responsibility to focus on the meaningful life and not speculate on life after death, so once they reach the point of death, they are certain they will meet God.
Hello, my name is Erin Hudson. I am 19 years old and I am a Hebrew Israelite.
And when you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
Heaven or hell.
And you personally believe in heaven or hell as if that's, the only two places you're going to go?
Yes.
And do you think that your religion has an influence on your beliefs of the afterlife?
Yes.
And where do you think you'll go personally when you die?
Heaven.
Okay, thank you.
When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
I would go to heaven.
Do you personally believe in an afterlife?
I believe there is heaven.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
We would go to heaven.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, and why?
It would be good because we'll be eternally with God.
Does religion influence your view of an afterlife?
Yes.
When you hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
Heaven and hell.
Do you personally believe in an afterlife?
I do.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
I believe we either go to eternal death or eternal life with God.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, and why?
Good, because I identify as a Christian and believe in God.
Does religion influence your view of an afterlife?
Yes.
Hello everybody, I'm Marissa Toledo and I'm here interviewing my brother Jonah Toledo, asking him some questions about the afterlife. Hello Jonah.
Hello.
Awesome, so I have some questions for you. First question, when you hear the word afterlife, what comes to mind?
Basically wherever you go after you die, possibly, whether it be heaven or hell or whatever you believe in.
Okay, so do you personally believe that there's an afterlife?
Yes, possibly. There could
Okay.
possibly be one.
Okay, so what do you think happens to us when we die?
You're possibly passed on to that plane or that spiritual realm of existence where you're past judgment, or possibly whatever you believe in, all the questions you have of after death actually may happen.
Yeah, okay. So do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, since you believe that there is an afterlife?
Possibly. I think everyone's afterlife possibly would be good, whether you believe in God or the devil or whatever religion there possibly is. Honestly, every creator, says that you have an afterlife, supposedly, whether you're saved, So realistically, I believe whatever you believe in, you will honestly have a good afterlife.
Okay. And does your religion influence your view on afterlife?
Yes, a little bit, possibly. Whatever, you believe in definitely has a role into where you think you're gonna go when you pass on. Some Christians believe you go to hell. You go to heaven or wherever. And other religions believe in reincarnation and so on. There's always just a possibility of something that is what keeps you believing in that.
Okay.
After.
And my last question for you today is, where do you think you go when we die?
Honestly, probably like that state of limbo where you are past judgment. You get to find out what's gonna actually happen, whether it be you go to an existence where you meet people you already know, or whether you're reincarnated back into an existence that you continue again and don't know of what happened previously.
You hear the words afterlife, what comes to mind?
Ghosts.
Do you believe in an afterlife?
Yes.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
You go into this abyss. You're floating around.
Do you think your afterlife will be good or bad, and why?
I think the afterlife is just neutral. So it's neither good nor bad.
Does your religion influence your view of it?
No, I don't believe in religion.
Where do you think you'll go when you die?
Just into the abyss, into the nothingness.
Opinions regarding the afterlife can be sensitive and complicated because we generally don't have a true sense of what the afterlife is composed of, or even if it exists at all. Some individuals use religion to predict their afterlife, and others use their own philosophical justification of what happens to us after death because it's comforting to have some sort of belief of what's going to happen to their soul when they're no longer a human form. It's easier to believe in an illusion of something than it is to think about something that you have never been able to experience. But now that you have heard other perspectives, do you have your own opinion about the afterlife? And if you do, is it based on your religion, a philosopher's theory, or have you reflected and come up with your own justification of the afterlife?